What is up, and welcome back to the Self Mastery Podcast. In today's episode, we're going over the price of greatness. So I've been building my brand and my business online for 3 years now, just over 3 years. It hasn't always been smooth sailing, but the thought of quitting has never entered my mind. Never, not once. Even when I didn't see progress for the entire first year. Like, I spent my first year and I barely grew my audience. I made no money. Everyone was judging me, all my friends, all my family. They're like, oh, this isn't going to work. All that their usual stuff, right? Quitting, however, was never an option. I can't really explain it. I don't know why. I just never even thought of quitting. I was just like, I'm making this work. No matter how much I was misunderstood by those around me. Of course, 3 years later, now that it's all paid off, that it works, I've proved them all wrong. But if I didn't expect and accept that I would be misunderstood, all the criticism and judgment would have gotten to me. It likely would have annoyed me, it would have demotivated me, and I likely would have quit. If you're trying to build something great, right? Whether that's your business, a brand, your body, your mind, yourself. If you're trying to build something great, you need to understand that when you try to explain your goals, your vision, your dreams to normal people with normal visions, you will be misunderstood. They won't understand your drive, your ambition, your mission. They will criticize you, they will judge you, and often it's out of what they believe to be your best interest, because they might have no bad intentions. Like, for example, your parents, your family. They might try to stop you taking risks because they don't want you to take a risk. It's not out of bad intentions, they just want to protect you. But you will struggle to find like-minded, mission-driven people. You will feel lost and you will feel alone. But this phase isn't forever. This phase is just at the beginning. Because like I said, at the start, you will struggle to find like-minded people on your journey to greatness, right? You're going to feel alone. And that's because great attracts great. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You've heard this before, right? So people who are great, people who are winners, they do not spend time with people who aren't great. They do not spend time with people who are losers. So at the start of your journey, when you're not great, when you haven't built anything great, when you're basically a fucking loser, great people aren't going to want to associate with you. If you want friends or a network that is destined for greatness, that is doing great shit, you must first become great. Which isn't easy. If it was easy, everyone would be great and being great would no longer be great. Okay, so chasing greatness is a lonely path at the start. It requires you to strip everything back to just you, locking yourself away, working on yourself and whatever you're building until you've sculpted something worth revealing to the world. At which point, once you've sculpted or molded either yourself, a business, or whatever it is into something that is worth showing, you can go out there, you can release your work, your story, your journey, whatever, however you choose to do it. And you will find those like-minded people who are also destined for greatness. But you can't do that until you first become great. It's a price that most people aren't willing to pay. Everyone wants to be great. Everyone talks about being great, but nobody is actually willing to sit back, remove all the distractions, remove all the work, sit and work on themselves for years until they become great and can reveal themselves to the world. They aren't willing to be misunderstood by normal people. And look, when you're on this journey, when you start out, you're going to try and convince, try to persuade normal people. You'll try to help them understand your vision, your goals, your dreams. Stop. There's no point. Accept it and expect it. You are on a different path. If you are trying to become great, if you're trying to be a winner, you are on a different path, and that path has a price. That price has 2 payments. One, the first payment is that you understand you will be misunderstood. The second payment is wholeheartedly believing that you will build something great, because if you don't believe you can build something great, you won't. You need complete and utter, almost delusional self-belief to do something great, because there's so many distractions, there's so many shiny objects to chase, there's so many negative opinions and people who are going to try put you down, either out of just trying to protect you or out of genuinely not wanting to see you succeed. There needs to be something inside of you that tells you you're destined for more. You need to be so convinced and delusional that you're going to build something great that you have no other choice but to build something great. And largely I believe that's why I never quit. and why I never even thought about quitting. I just knew this was going to work if I put in the time. Like in regards to my business and my brand, I just knew it was going to work if I put in the time and effort for long enough. I believe that's why I never quit. I was delusionally convinced that I would build something, and it paid off. See, the cost is the cure. Ralph Waldo Emerson has a quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes, and the quote is, "To be great is to be misunderstood." The major problem here with chasing greatness is that normal people will judge you, they will criticize you, and if you let it get to you, you will likely quit. NPCs, if you want to call them NPCs, will brainwash you into believing that it's not worth it, that it won't work, that it's not for you. But the cost is the cure. When you expect and accept that you will be misunderstood, the criticism and the judgment of normal people with normal visions doesn't get to you. You wipe it off. It just is like a water off a duck's back. You don't even internalize it. You don't pay any attention to it. You understand that you're on a different path. You put yourself in a position to look out for and find like-minded people who are at the same point on the journey as you. You're less likely to quit. You commit to greatness. You understand that you're on this path. You understand that you have to delusionally believe that you can make it great. And you understand that you will be misunderstood. See, there's a price that you must pay to join the path of greatness. To some, the price will seem insane. The price will seem crazy. That's okay. If it does, the path of greatness isn't for you. Okay, it's simple. But if the price doesn't make you jump out of your skin, if the fact that you will be misunderstood by normal people with normal visions doesn't get to you, if you think that's fine, that's a price worth paying, the path of greatness could be for you. See, the first step is you need to understand that to be great is to be misunderstood. That is a fantastic quote. And like, this is what this whole podcast has been about so far. If you still don't understand the concept or understand why it is necessary to be misunderstood if you want to be great, you need to. So go and watch this podcast again and again and again, as many times as you need to internalize the fact that there is a price to pay for greatness, and most people aren't willing to pay it, and that's why most people will never be fucking great. If you want to be great, if you want to get what other people don't have, if you want to live a life other people don't have, if you want to live a life that is fulfilling and you do great shit, you want to be a winner, you need to understand that you will be misunderstood by normal people because they don't share your drive, your vision, your mission. It is a price that needs to be paid if you want to be great. You also need to be willing to make sacrifices. Remember, great attracts great. So to find like-minded people who are destined for greatness, you yourself must be great. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and the great people understand this and internalize this the most out of everybody, okay? So they will not hang around with you if you're a loser, if you're not great. So you need to be willing to strip everything back. You need to remove toxic people, you need to remove bad habits, you need to set goals, you need to build good habits, you need to challenge yourself, and you need to dedicate yourself to improvement. You need to pretty much lock yourself away for 1 to 3 years, maybe even more, and work on yourself, on building yourself into something great and building great things. That way you will actually be great, and great people will be willing to hang around with you and associate with you, and therefore you level each other up. You need to build yourself up from nothing and become great. You cannot skip this step. You can't just become great tomorrow. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes mastery, it takes dedication, it takes improvement, it takes obsession to build something great. One of the things you can do is actually focus on creating so much proof and evidence that what you're doing works that normal people have no choice but to believe you. This isn't so that you can gain the approval of every normal person walking down the street or every person who has ever doubted you. It's so you can show people who mean something to you that you're not crazy, that it works. Some people like your parents, right? If you're younger or maybe even older, because it doesn't matter if you're 16 or you're 46, your parents matter. They'll likely be the first to try to stop you from taking a risk because they just want to protect you. They're doing it in your own best interest or what they believe to be your best interest because they don't want you to take risks because, you know, a risk obviously comes with downside. That's the whole point of it being a risk. Unfortunately, for those destined for greatness, that isn't an option. So gather proof, gather evidence of what you're doing works, whether that is money you've earned, followers you've gained, whatever it is, depending on what you're trying to build, and show it to those who truly matter. My friend, as always, thank you for listening. This was a short one. This was something I feel just needed to be said, because I don't think most people understand the price that you have to pay to be great and to build something great, and I don't think most people are willing to pay it. If you've got this far, you likely are willing to pay it, so best of luck on your journey. But as always, all my links to everything, Mastery Operating System, Mastery OS, Get Shit Done System, Self-Mastery Letter, all of that, you can find that in the description below. So go check them out if you're interested, and I will see you in the next video.